everyone, welcome back. So today we are back to talking about business and money. I wanted to chat to you guys a little bit about a question that I get often, mostly from my friends. So let me know if you wonder about the same thing. But that is, what's it like working with international clients? So honestly, when I first started, I think it was kind of nerve wracking. I just feel like I didn't know what could be the major kind of fallouts that we can have. I know, super negative, but that's immediately what my mind went to, like the first time that I started working with international clients. I would say the very first time it was a group of, well, I don't know how many they were in the group, but you could tell that it was a dental practice who wanted some help with their online course about dentistry, how to get into dentistry, and all of that. So I'm afraid of dentists. So you can imagine what like a nerve-wracking this experience was for me. But it was my very first Fiverr client, so I couldn't say no. And I just wanted to get my hands dirty, get some experience. I was all in it, even though looking back now, I severely undercharged, but I just needed to get started. So I start with these guys, they dentists, they gave me 5 stars in my review, but they did say that they picked up a lot of errors, etc. But mostly typos, not exactly like the work was just 100% incorrect. So I believe they were they from Texas, maybe somewhere there. That's, or at least that's the vibe that I got. And I would say that that went smoothly. And then I worked with someone else before I worked with this lady from Atlanta. So the lady from Atlanta was so nice. She was just way nicer than what I had expected her to be. Definitely assertive. I think they all are. Like, if you're about to spend money on a service provider, I feel like you are very strict about your outcomes and the things that you want from that experience. So it was a lot of that. But overall, I feel like it was such a pleasurable experience. And I put in my all on that task. So I was tasked with editing and proofreading her books, which she had 5 ebooks that she needed edited because she wanted to sell them as part of her services, I suppose. So she was a health coach. And this is also what made me realize how much money there is in coaching. People are spending all this money on people like me to make sure that the work is accurate in order for it to be bought by the audiences. So that was also a pleasurable experience. Then I met this one lady. I'm not going to say their names because I'm not sure if they're ever going to watch this video. And then there's this one lady who I worked with for what ended up being the longest time. I think it was 3 to 6 months. I'm not really sure. And working with her was probably the best thing ever. Even my mom like loves her. She's always like, "Hey, how's it going with her?" and all of these things. Because I ended up working with her for the longest time. She's from the UK and also super nice. Also knows what she wants. But overall a really pleasurable experience. And I think through her I also learned how to be, in charge of my own things, like take accountability for stuff, and also how to handle it when people don't deliver the way you expected. Because there was a time when I was moving and I just couldn't get the work done because I was stressed about moving is not my thing. And I had to miss a deadline, and she spoke to me and she's like, please let me know ahead of time, or this, or if something ever goes wrong, please rather be open about it than do like an apology tour later. She didn't say it in those words, but I'm just saying, avoid doing something last minute and just tell me ahead of time. And to be honest, that's what I prefer. Like, I currently have one person working under me, and I would really prefer it if she told me earlier if she can't do something, rather than me waiting, expecting it to be done, but then it isn't. So I've been super blessed to work with great women. I think I only started working with men this year. I don't think it's something that I sought out. It's just that that's what ended up happening. My first Upwork client was a guy, or is a guy. And to be honest, I expected it to be really, really awful. But he is very like empathetic, I would say. Um but also very like firm. Like he doesn't micromanage you, and at the same time he's very understanding if something does come up. And I think he really changed what I thought about guy clients because I have had like a few experiences with guys. Ugh, like it was just not um pleasurable. And I've also had a few guys that were in my sales calls, and then they wouldn't bother getting back to you even though it seemed like it was going to be a big deal. I feel like women don't do that. So I started working with this guy. We talked in December, but officially started working together in January. And until now, I'm, it's like really awesome to be part of his team. One thing about him that is amazing is that he pays on time. I know it's kind of like, but I like that he pays on time. You don't have to argue with him about deliverables and all of these things. But and at the same time, I feel like um he I think he did try to be as to explain himself, like in terms of what kind of a leader he is and what he expects from you. So it kind of helped you to kind of be set up in such a way that you don't need the constant hand holding. But if your hand needs to be held, he does come through for you. And that's what I like, or that's what I love. Because I hate spending a lot of time doing a task for someone to yell at me later about how incorrect it is. But if I ask them during the process, they also yell about them having to hold your hand. Like, choose one. Because I feel like if you do a good job at the beginning with a new team member, in the long run they won't need you. But if you let them like fall out of the nest the first couple of times, then what happens when they do something wrong? So yeah, I think that's been awesome. Then I also started working with a personal trainer from LA that I really enjoy working with her. Like I think after I started working with her, by the way, this is a job that I didn't expect to get at all because there were so many applicants by the time that I applied. But I just told myself that I just needed to get into the habit of sending proposals on Upwork. And that's what you need to do when you first start on Upwork. And she invited me for an interview, and I was like, what? You know? And I ended up getting the job, which has been such an amazing experience. And then my recent client is a lady from Connecticut. And even her, I didn't expect to get her as a client. And I ended up getting her as a client. And I'm just like so in awe with who I get to work with. Like they're just like combined experience, their leadership skills, all these things are things that I'm gaining just by working with them, because there's nobody here who's going to hold my hand and teach me how to run a business. You know what I mean? And I feel like that is what gives me the courage to go out on my own and start things and follow through and make sure that whatever God puts in my mind, I put out in the world, because I'm just surrounded by people who are go getters and people who, I guess, work towards their goals or work towards the things that they are doing. And I say God because really none of this for me seems possible. I mean, 2 years ago I was at home depressed, sitting there trying to get jobs from South African clients, which was a complete disaster. They don't respond to emails. They don't they don't respond. You have no idea how many emails I sent. I sent a gazillion emails, and I believe one or two people responded. Over 100, I'm sure, um, emails, and from people that it's obvious to you that they need your help with the skills that you want to provide them with, but none of them ever answered. That's why, for me, being able to get someone who said yes to me is so like God destined, because I just don't see how it was going to happen any other way. And I feel like even now, the fact that I can continue, seeking out new opportunities and all of that. I just have this fire in me, and I want to, because I keep asking myself, do I want an agency? And the answer is no, but I also don't want to be a freelancer forever. So I need to find a way for me to work less in the future. But right now, the experience and the stuff that I'm learning is really, you can't put a price on that. And I think that's enough for me for now. And I just want to keep growing so that one day when I do go out on my own, I'm ready. But more than that, I have the experience that I need in order to keep that running for a long time and to be okay with people working under me and be the type of leader that I see these people being. Because mm, do you understand? Like, I don't have a mentor, I don't have somebody who can take me by the hand and show me the ropes. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I covered everything. But yeah, for example, recently with my last client, she well, I did this work for her and then she sent it back with a few notes for me. And I remember the day before, well, the deadline for the work was on the 24th, and I was supposed to log in on the 21st or the 22nd to request payment because I had already sent the work. And she, all of a sudden, I got a notification on my phone saying that she had paid for the work, even though I didn't formally request the payment. That's what I love about this whole thing. Like, I don't have to fight people to pay me. And I think that's the type of leader I want to be. I want to reward people for their hard work. But more than that, I want them to not need me all the time. Like, I want to give them clear direction about where it is that they need to go, and they just go, and all I see is just deliveries. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think if you have any questions, specific questions, definitely let me know. Like, I'm curious about what you guys want to know about working with international clients. Um, Also, if you are wondering, I have one South African client who is the best. And even how that got together is literally God, because how, you know? And there were so many other qualified people that she could have hired, but she hired me, and I've been on the payroll since 2021. How? You know? So yeah, like, it's just some things you just can't explain. But I really hope that this gets you over that bump if you are thinking, but what do I have to offer? Blah, blah, blah. Stop. Just go to Upwork. Whatever you can find, just get started. And I know what it sounds like. I was also on the other side when I would watch a lot of people be like, they would ask them, how did you get started on Upwork? Just get started. Oh, such a boring answer. But it's the truth, because one day I also got started and I got committed. I have to I have to add that bit there, because I did get started, but I wasn't committed and then nothing happened. But the second time when I got started and I was committed, that's how I got my first two clients. And even today, I'm just gobsmacked about how all of that came together. But I hope this inspires you to get started and not put yourself back or self reject, because I used to do that also. And yeah, put yourself out there. Just get the experience that you need. Don't worry too much about qualifications. People don't care about that. They only care about, can you finish this task? And that's about it. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.